Café and Networking Podcast promotes successful business experts. I'm Tom Reaoch, known as the King of Networking, connecting people throughout the world from my podcast studio in Brazil. Today we talk with Debra Chantry-Taylor. She's joining us from Auckland, New Zealand. Debra is a professional EOS implementer, family business advisor, leadership and entrepreneurial business coach. EOS, which is Entrepreneurial Operating System, is a complete set of simple tools, and a proven process to produce powerful business results. So, Debra, what are the 6 secrets that you mentioned to getting what you want from your business and life?
That is a very good question, Tom. I mean, first of all, I'd like to say one of my passions is making sure we live our ideal entrepreneurial life, right? So I believe we should be doing what we do with people we love, making a big difference in the world, being compensated appropriately and having time to pursue other passions. And so the 6 secrets to get into that sort of frame of mind and ensure you're doing that is to look at 6 key components of your business to make sure you've got them really, really strong. The first one is vision. Very, very simply put, it's around making sure everybody understands why you exist, what you're here for, what you're doing, who you do it for, and more importantly, how are you actually going to achieve that in terms of your 10-year target, your 3-year picture, 1-year goals, and your 90-day rocks. So that's number one. Make sure we're really, really clear on the vision, and we share it with everybody in the organization. Right. Because often it's in our brains, but we haven't actually shared it with the people.
We share it even with ourselves. When we're starting up, it's us, right? It's me, and maybe one or another. So, but it has to start from us.
Absolutely. And I think that, even when it's just a one-man band who's starting up from scratch, do this exercise, write these things down. Why do you exist? What are you here for? What are your core values? Because writing things down commits it. It makes it actually subconsciously, your brain is now going, right, how do I actually help you to achieve that? And so I've actually got mine written on my shower wall. So I'm looking at it every single day. And that's my little bonus tip there. So, just make sure it's really visible, because I do believe that once you commit to it, you will make that happen.
Oh, good tip. And number 2.
Number 2 is very much about people. So making sure we've got the right people in the right seats, including yourself. So when I say right people who genuinely share your core values, who feel like they're part of your family, who want to achieve the same things that you do. And then the right seats is making sure that we're not doing the stuff that doesn't make our heart sing. Right. We're not doing the stuff that is the $25 an hour work, or the stuff that we really just hate and aren't very good at. So elevate yourself up to the things that, your God-given talent, your unique ability. Just make sure that you're doing that stuff that you really love and are really good at. And that's for everybody in the organization. Everybody in your team should be doing what they love. Right. And the stuff where they add the most value, most importantly.
And number 3.
Number 3 is about making sure we're measuring the stuff that's important. So let's call it data. So, often we measure things because it makes us feel good. Isn't it wonderful how many Facebook followers I've got, or whatever it might be? But in reality, does that help you to run a business? Right. And so in a business, it's important we actually look at what are the most important things we should be measuring. What are the sort of 5 to 15 measurables that we can put onto a scorecard, look at it every single week. And we should be able to look at that on a rolling kind of 13-week basis and go, hey, we're either doing really well, yay us, let's continue on that path, or we've got an issue. And where is the issue? It looks like it's lying in this area, because that's what the numbers tell us. So using data that really helps you make informed business decisions.
Well, that's going to change too with time, because when you're starting up, literally, you're looking for contacts, you're looking for leads. Once you get started, you have a customer, you have a client, and then it becomes more important of repeat customers. Who's coming back?
That's exactly right.
That does change over time, right?
It should never be anything. Nothing in my mind is set in stone in a business. A business is always growing, always changing. What you should be doing is in that 90-day period, stick to those measurables, but then review them and say, are these still relevant for us? Should we be changing them because the business has different needs right now? So if you've got a cash flow issue, you should be really looking at those numbers and your leading indicators. But if you're, in a good, sound financial position, then it's going to be, how do we make sure we're looking after our customers? How do we make sure our staff are really happy? Right. Our team is really important. What's the staff measurable? So measurables change over time.
And then we get to number 4.
Which is issues, which I just talked about coming from that scorecard. Yeah. So We all have issues, personal, professional, lots of issues out there. But in a business, what often happens is we have issues, but we're not dealing with them. So the first step is to actually write those issues down. And issues can be challenges, but they can also be opportunities. So what opportunities do we have to take this business forward? What is stopping us from going towards our vision that we've set? Right. And then once we've written them down, the most important thing is to actually look at solving them. So how do we solve them at their root cause so they don't keep coming back and biting us time and time again?
And paying it, sometimes we don't pay attention to the issue. It may be a scratch, but a scratch could fester, and then we get an infection. So we do have to, it's the small stuff that becomes big stuff.
Absolutely. And I mean, taking it a step further, it becomes an infection. It becomes septicemia. That's almost fatal. So you've got to be very, very careful.
We don't want to get there. Yeah. But we do want to get number 5. What is 5?
Number 5 is around process. And this is the bit that most entrepreneurs feel like they struggle with. But in actual fact, it's a natural thing that we do. So not every single process. We don't want an ISO 9002 manual that's got 198 pages of everything we do. But what are the core processes that your business needs to operate? And how can you very simplistically write those out in a way that people can understand and follow, allowing them room to be human? So they can, they've got a process, but they can still add the human exceptional element to it, but they're following those core processes for those core areas.
And then that takes us to number 6.
And number 6 is traction. So, how do we actually make all this stuff I've talked about is wonderful, but if you haven't got traction, if you haven't got discipline and accountability and a healthy team that is working towards, getting that traction, you have nothing. So making sure you've got a regular meeting pulse on a weekly basis, on a quarterly basis, in a structured environment. So it's not just come in and have a chat, let's move out of here and on we go, but we're focusing on our rocks for the quarter. We're focusing on our scorecard. We're focusing on the issues, the things that are important, and actually running a meeting that is effective and gives us that discipline and accountability to hold people accountable for what they need to do to achieve the vision.
Well, and again, once we get to number 6, we go back to number 1.
Yeah, and we review it all the time. Again, I don't believe, your 10-year target.
It's never over. It's not when you get to 6 and you're done, right? You say scaling up, but no, it's never over.
No, it's a continuous improvement process. But if you can just make sure that you're strong in each of those components equally, you'll have a strong business.
Well, and as the leader, obviously, I think it is our charge that we need to be aware that we're looking at all 6.
Yes.
We can't have a team. We can have other persons. We can have outside help. They may do a part. But back to number 1, it's our responsibility to make all 6 happen.
Yeah. We are the leaders, and we have we can surround ourselves with other leaders as well, but it's important we're all on the same page and we're all fighting for that greater good. And
that's not something we can pass off lightly.
No, for sure. It's something, as I say, discipline and accountability. It starts at the top. What do they say? The fish stinks from the head down. So, as you go, so they will follow.
Well, really, there's no secret to these 6.
None of this is new. I'm not giving you any magic silver bullet or any sort of, oh, that's amazing. It's just really basic business principles. But what tends to happen as entrepreneurs, we get distracted by bright, shiny lights. We get distracted by all of the fighting fires, the day-to-day stuff. We need to make time to actually kind of work on the business, work on those 6 key things on a regular basis. And that way we know that we will, achieve the vision that we're setting us out for ourselves.
Well, I think what I like really, your number 1, that you said in the shower. So I think,
yes.
I agree with that. I think as a leader, we need to get up. We need to start our day, starting everybody else's day. And I think the shower, literally, cleaning up. We need to clean the brain. We need to follow seriously. And I think that's part of it. So many people put that off to get their day started. But I think the sooner we start our day, and our days can be different anywhere in the world. The day's never ending. We're speaking right now. You're actually in tomorrow. I'm still in yesterday.
That's right. I'm ahead of you.
But in that, we have to understand that the world, it's 24/7. Things are happening all the time. But whenever we do decide to get up, we need to be up and awake and going back and looking at all these 6 that you mentioned and cleaning house every day, cleaning our mind every day.
Yeah. I actually have another little routine I do in the evening. So I've got a Remarkable, which is just an electronic notepad because I get very easily distracted by lots of, bright, shiny things. So my Remarkable is just an electronic notepad. And I use that every evening to basically do a brain dump at the end of the day as well. So I do my gratitude, the things I'm grateful for. I think about what's coming up for tomorrow. I try and get everything out of my head so that when I do wake up in the morning, I'm ready. I'm not being woken up at 2 a.m. with I've got an amazing idea. Yeah, I've forgotten something. And then the shower is just the way to start the day fresh. It's a great way to go right now. Why am I here? What am I here for? What do I need to do? How do I lead my team to make sure we get there?
Very good. So how can our listeners find you?
Yeah, that's pretty easy. I mean, first of all, I've got quite a unique name. So Debra Chantry-Taylor, if you Google me, you'll find me anywhere. But if you go to Debra, which is DEBRA.coach, you'll actually find I've got a bio link site that has all my socials, all my free tools that I offer. I've got podcasts, I've got books, I've got downloadable tools that you can use. There's so much stuff there that you can actually use. So that's all in that one place.
It's almost like Christmas.
It almost is here. Yeah.
Well, very good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your time and your experience with us, Debra.
Oh, look, my privilege. I mean, thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
And for our listeners, it's Debra Chantry-Taylor, DebraChantry-Taylor. So Debra Chantry-Taylor. You'll find her at www.debra.coach. You'll find her everywhere else, but you'll find her on LinkedIn, and great information about business. Thanks again.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.
And Café Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information about them at www.focusmi.com. Thanks for listening. Until the next time here at Café and Networking Podcast.